Hola mis serenitas, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Chiquita Serenita, and today we're going to do a review on the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette. I've had this for at least, I want to say like a week or so. I bought it and it became very much one of those things where I don't need it, and then in the end, you know, you kind of fall just completely like, okay, I give up, I want it. And one of the things that I noticed when I told my friend Abby on Instagram, I was like, you know what, if Natasha had came out with these two together like at the same time, right, the I Need a Nude and I Need a Warm, I would have totally went for the I Need a Warm, because even though the I Need a Nude wasn't a bad like palette, I feel for my skin tone the I Need a Warm would have been better for me anyways. The one that I created with the I Need a Nude, the look, it wasn't bad. It was like a cool tone. I still made it work for me, but I noticed that so many people who were darker than me were struggling so bad with it, because that palette had the darkest color in that palette wasn't really working for darker skin tones. And that's something that I mentioned to my friend Abby. I was like, you know what? Natasha automatically has to just either have a dark black, either have a matte black, or an espresso, dark espresso brown automatically in all her palettes, just to make them wearable for every skin tone. Because if you notice in her tutorials, the little, you know, when she's doing someone's makeup, she almost always relies on creating the smoky eye by using one of her pencils. And I'm like, okay, that's a separate product though. In order to make a palette wearable for everyone, you have to have a matte black or a dark espresso brown. You can't have us buying extra product to make it wearable for us. You guys get what I'm saying? I mean, her palettes on their own, they're going to work for lighter skin tones, and they're barely wearable for me sometimes, but I feel like it's just not dark enough. It's not deep enough for the darker skin tones. And even though some people will say, oh, well, there's the bronze palette. Yeah, but that's one palette. You shouldn't have a whole bunch of 5, 6 palettes and only one of your palettes. That's not inclusivity. I don't know. That's the way I think, okay? So when you first get it, it comes in this carton packaging right here. You guys know how she usually has them. I have the other palettes here with me, so we're going to do like, you know, comparisons real quick for you guys too. So it comes like this. Just reminds me so much of her I Need a Nude packaging. This is the I Need a Nude packaging. So this one is just like, it's really funny how they call this one I Need a Nude, but that's not a nude. That's like a cream vanilla, and this is more of like a nude. I don't know, that's the way I think about it. Look at, they're pretty much almost the same, except this has this one, but it still has that little ridges right here. And then when you take it out of that packaging, it just reminds me a lot of the I Need a Nude, because they're like, the palettes are pretty almost designed the same way. I don't know, it's got the same vibe to it. That's what I feel. So it comes like this when you take it out of the palette, this plastic, and then it's got this design on here. It's very, very pretty. It's got the back little, you guys know, if you guys want to, they have it, those little holes, so you guys can pop them out and rearrange the story how you want it to look like. When you open it up, this is covered and protected by a little frosted, I don't know what you would call that, sticker, or, yeah, it's just, you know, for the mirror. I can't think of what it's called. But this is the color story. Now, if you've seen my video, my TikTok video of the look that I created with this palette, you guys will see that I went for Fervor for my transition shade. And then the darkest shade in here is this one. Really works really good for me, but like I said, they're only as dark. Fervor's, that darkest one is on here right now on my eye. This is a different eye look. This is the next day. So totally different from the TikTok video. I used this palette again today because I was going to go see Abby and we were going to go have some coffee. So I got up early and made the effort to do my makeup just so I could do this video when I came back from our coffee, if you want to call it meetup. So that is the eye look that I created today. And I switched it up a little bit. I did use a different transition shade. So for the transition shade on the TikTok video, I used this one. But the one that I used today is called Ripe. That's the one that I used today. Very peachy tone. It showed up on my skin tone. It's very pretty. It's kind of a little light, too light for my taste, but it did show up. And then on the overall lid, I did use this triochrome that's called Phenomenia. I don't know how to pronounce that, you guys. That one. That one is, I don't know, it feels weird to me. It feels light. I almost feel like I'm more working my finger in trying to pack on the product. And even though it's pretty and it does have that shift, I don't know, it feels like you're not putting anything on your eye. I don't know if that's normal because that's the way it's supposed to feel, or I'm just going crazy and I feel like it's not picking enough on my finger. On the TikTok video, I used that same one, but I used it down here. And today I used it right here on my overall lid. And then on the bottom, right here on the bottom, I used Hanker. This one, it's called Hanker. And then, of course, on the outer, I used the same Pep because that's the darkest shade. I did try I almost used Flashover because I feel like either one could work for me. But for someone darker than me, definitely stick to the Pep. I feel like this is just maybe 2 shades lighter. That's why I said she has, these 3 are similar like in brown hues. They're only about like maybe 2 1-tone difference. So she could have easily took that out. Take out them, add a dark espresso brown, and then maybe this one and just add a black. You don't even have to add a black. Maybe the black might mess with the overall color story or the vision she was going for, but still, it's called I Need a Warm palette. Where is the warmness? Because all I see is lukewarm right now. So I would have totally, either you make Pep super, we're talking about almost a brown black, then that would have been fine. She has habit of using these cream foundation, like the cream to matte formulas too, which she added in the bronze palette, right? She has that cream to matte dark espresso brown, and that thing I don't like that formula, you guys. I would prefer she sticks to just a matte. If she's gonna go dark espresso brown, just stick with the matte. There was no need for the cream to matte. I struggled so much with that palette. I think I used the bronze palette 3 times, and I hated every single look that came from it. Now, it might have been because I was barely starting on my makeup journey, so I might have to give it a second chance, but like at this point, I did not like that palette. And so many people love the heck out of that palette. That's why I like to say that I have this love and hate relationship with Natasha. I don't know what's going on, but it's like some of her palettes really draw me in. Every single palette, matter of fact, draw me in. It's just, once I get them here and I play with them, that's when it's like, God, I hate this palette. So there are palettes, obviously, my favorites between hers, and there's some that I can't stand. I don't bother. I think I've only sold 1 Natasha Denona, and the rest, I keep them. I just keep them in my little, I have a little, you know, plastic container, and I stack up all my Natasha, and I put them up with my, I have them with my Sigma Beauty stuff, and it just stays there. And I don't use it because I'm just looking at it like, I hate yours. So I'm going to start with the swatches to get the swatches out of the way. And then after we're done with the swatches, I'll get the other palettes and we'll do like comparisons real quick, just side to side, so you guys can see if, you know, there's a huge difference between, I pulled out the I Need a Nude, the bronze, and the golden palette, so we can compare those because they have a similar vibe going. And the other palettes that she's done obviously have nothing to do with this. They're not on this type of tone range. You know, like obviously you're not going to compare it to the retro palette. That's pinks and stuff, so that's what I'm saying. They're on the same vibe. So I'm going to start right here in the corner, and I'm going to go clear across each of the rows until we get to the end of this palette, okay? The first one is called Soft Spot. And Soft Spot is just a very light caramel nude. It does feel like a matte. It's very soft. Next we have Fancy. This is a shimmer. I want to think of it as like a, maybe like an icy nude, almost like a taupe. This would be perfect for inner corner highlight or an overall lid. It's very pretty. Next we have Mellow. Mellow looks like a peachy tone, matte. I think for someone lighter than me, this make a perfect transition shade. I just feel like it's a little too light for my taste. So who knows if it would be able to, you know, if I would be able to use it. But it's a nice color. Phenomena. This is that Triochrome shade. It has these very, very soft. I almost feel like I'm not rubbing anything on. I think the best comparison I would do is I would compare it to maybe a Super Shock shadow. So it was very confusing when I was putting it on my eye because it felt like I was not adding anything to my eye. I was like, it feels like I'm not rubbing anything on. Is it even coming off my finger? That's what I kept thinking because it felt like so lightweight, like nothing. So it does have this orange, red, yellow, green type of shift. I don't know how to describe it, but it's super pretty, you guys. And on the eye, depending on, you know, when you move your eye and go like this, it's so pretty. That was like the first thing that my friend noticed. She was like, I love, what are you wearing on your eye? And I had to tell her. She goes, oh, you're wearing that trichrome shade right there, huh? I was like, yeah, you could tell. So next we have Ripe, and this is the one that I use as my transition shade today. It's just a very dark nectarine peach color. It's a matte as well. In the next row, we have Elm, and Elm is so pretty. It is this, oh, I love that tone. It's a shimmer, and it looks like a light creamy beige. Next, we have Snug. That's another shimmer right here. This one looks like a foiled shimmer with micro glitters in it. This one's more on the peachy side. Okay, and then we have VLM. I don't know what that stands for. This is like a chocolate brown. Feels like a matte. Ooh, that is. It looks like it would be really nice as a deepening tone. I'm not sure how that would work on my skin tone or someone darker. I feel like for me, look at, it's still a nice brown for me. And for someone who's lighter, that would be a really good shade to smoke it out. I feel like that would still be dark enough. I have the darkest shade on my eyelid, and I feel like that's as dark as it gets right there. It doesn't even look like a smoked out look. It just looks like this. Obviously, it's just a darker little corner right there. And that's it. That's as dark as it went, y'all. Push is, it looks like this metallic and glitter. It has all these little micro glitters. It's really pretty. I want to say it's between a gold and an orange. At least that's, the orange is like the base tone color. And it has all these gold specks of glitter throughout it. Fervor, this, like I said, this is the one that you see me using on the TikTok video as my transition shade. And it is just this very deep burnt orange type of color. Very fall. I feel like it's the perfect fall tone. In the last row, for the first one, we have Pep, which is the dark matte brown. That's the one that I used today and yesterday to darken my corner, sort of to smoke it out. I mean, obviously you can see that one's the darkest, darker than that one, but still, like that one, I'm not sure. I think I saw someone and it did work for them a little bit, but even, you know, so I think it really depends. I'm not sure if it would matter if you wore like a really white base in order to make it pop on darker skin tones. I just know there's sometimes I watch my other fellow YouTubers and they're darker than me, and a lot of these tones will literally just blend into their skin tone. And I'm like, okay, well, what was the point, Natasha? Come on, it's supposed to work for everyone, not just for me or someone lighter than me. That's the way I think. It's like work for everyone, you know? So Homie is the next shade. This is such a pretty shade. The tone, I like the shimmers in here. So pretty. They're just very in your face. This one is a light, I want to call it like almost between a rose gold and a beige, but it's very metallic looking. It's like in your face. Next we have Hanker. That's the one that I'm wearing today on my bottom lid. That is like a bronze gold type of shimmer. Dynamism, I think. I don't even know how to pronounce that. This one is a coppery tone shimmer, which is weird because as I'm swatching it, it does look like a copper tone, a reddish orange. And then in the palette, it doesn't look like that. It looks more of a gold bronze type of tone, which I don't know. That's actually pretty that it shows up like that because I did not expect that. And then, of course, you have the last one in here that's called Flash Over. Soft. It feels like a very soft, lightweight matte. Like, obviously, you can feel the quality in the shadows of a Natasha Denona palette, y'all. You can tell. If you're like a collector like me, you can tell the quality between these type of palettes and other palettes. You're like, okay, well, I see it now. So that is Flash Over right there. Just a very light, you know, like medium type of brown, I would say. And these are all the tones in this palette. Hopefully I was able to help you guys decide whether you guys want it for yourself or not. Definitely, like I said, I do recommend this palette 100%. I really, really love this palette. But if Natasha would have released them at the same time, on the same day, let's just say that as an example, and she would have said, look, I have the nude palettes for you guys. One is, you know, I need a nude, and the other one's I need a warm. I would have totally just bought this one, and I wouldn't have bothered with her. That's what I would have done. Because the I need a nude, that thing is, she's a hot mess. She needs some type of revision to her. She needs a black, a dark matte brown, something that works for I mean, I can only create so many looks with that. The look that I created, if you guys are curious about it, look on my Instagram and just scroll all the way down. There's a picture on there from when I did a I Need the Nude palette. Let me see if I could find it. So I don't know if you guys can see that. But that's the look that I created with the I Need a Nude. And I didn't hate it, okay? I'm not saying that I hated it. But compared to like today, I would definitely say this one fits my skin tone better. The colors versus these are cool tone ones. And of course, you know, my hair was shorter back then and I did do my eyebrows differently, but still, like, I would still go for that eye look if she had something darker. Because I don't know if you guys noticed the darkness right here to smoke out the outer eye. That was the darkest tone in there. And that tone is not dark enough for me in my personal taste. I would have preferred, see, look at, I use Silhouette. And Silhouette is one of those god-awful cream to matte formulas. And the thing is, as soon as it dries, it's just not dark enough. It's just not dark enough, y'all. I don't like it. Hopefully the camera's focusing. That's just not, no. It wasn't. It was no, you guys. The other tones, like, don't get me wrong. The other tones in here, I really love all these freaking, oh the god, the shimmers are so pretty in here. I love the vague. I could do without that, but the rest of them, these ones would have fit me. That one's still a shimmer, so I'll let that pass. I don't know what the heck a pink has to do with the nude, but everything's workable except for that freaking shade. And the fact that she gave me one. Oh, this is a deepening shade. Natasha, this shade ain't working for nobody but you, girl. Nobody but you. I don't care what you say. Half of those videos you post on there are using your black, what did she call it? Her crayon eye pencil or something like that. Of course, she's deepening it with an eye pencil to make it wearable for her. But if you're going to make me pay $69 on top of your eye cream, girl, get the heck out of my face. Get out of my face. You're making me waste more money for a palette that should have worked for everyone. That is just my 2 cents. You don't have to agree with me, but I feel like if a lot of us who are my color or darker are forking out the same money the rest of you are, then it should be able to work for everyone, not just certain people. And I mean that with all the love in the world, you guys. I have no hate towards anyone. It's just, come on. You know, throw us a bone here now and then, Natasha. Add a freaking espresso brown, add a black, and there will be no complaints on my part because you're making it, okay, she gave me a black this time. I could do this. I could totally do this, you know. My confidence level and belief in myself just raises the bar when I see that black or when I see that dark espresso. I'm like, okay, I could do this. I could do this. So let's do some side right real quick with the I Need a Nude, because obviously this is supposed to be the sister palette to this BITCH over here. So let's just compare these two. So obviously, because you guys can see the difference, this is more of a warm orangey. I feel like this is really good for fall. I love that shade of that triochrome because it totally makes it a freaking fall type of looks. And then you have this one right here. This basic B right here. Very light, cool tones. If you like cool tones, you'll love her. I have nothing against this girl right here. I have nothing against this palette. It's just that one shade that won't work for me. And when I was seeing reviews on this, I have another fellow YouTuber who she's darker than me. And when she tried on the silhouette, it blended. It basically got lost in the background. You couldn't even tell she had it on. That's what I mean by there has to be something more wearable than that, so it could fit all skin tones. So I feel like if you're going to buy this palette and you're my skin tone or darker, definitely reach for another palette and use a dark matte black or brown from another palette. Don't use the one from here. And if you are my skin tone or darker, I feel like this will still work for you. But definitely if you're darker than me, I 100% recommend using something, a different, you know, like a black from another palette or a dark matte brown from another palette too. Because this is the darkest shade. And I feel like just me, just me. You can tell it's there, right? But it's not the darkest. It's not like, oh my God, look at her smoking eye. Girl, it is not smoking. It's barely there. It's obviously it's dark, but it's not like how I would consider a smoky eye, you know? Like sometimes I want to look like Jack Sparrow, but Natasha didn't do it for me, okay? She gave me a very passable thing, and it's like, okay. And then I'm going to compare it real quick to the bronze palette, because I have the bronze palette here too. Bronze palette, like I said, I did try it 3 times. I did a review. Ooh, girl, this is old. It's old. I did a review on it a long time ago. That's when I was barely buying palettes, getting into makeup type of thing. I was very much a novice, so I'm going to say that it didn't work for me because of the fact that I'm a newbie. I was such a newbie back then. Now, I know better, okay? So I don't know. Should I create like a TikTok video, you guys, of using the palette again? Because like I haven't used it. I used it 3 times. I hate it. All 3 looks. But at the same time, I feel like I didn't give her a real chance because I was such a newbie back then. I didn't like the look that I created with this. I think the 3rd one I created was just passable. But now like I see the potential of it. Deep Dive was the darkest shade. This one was said to work for everyone. Look at, I want to put it next to that one that we did from the I Need a Nude. Again, cream to matte. This freaking lady loves this damn formula. but it is a deeper tone. I'll give her that. It is a deeper tone. And look at, perfect for my darker skin people. It'll work. It'll totally work for you guys. And all these other tones look beautiful on darker skin. Bronze, golds, those are the colors. I love it the way they pop on darker skin tones. This one, I don't know about that one. Rodden, that one, I think it's very light. Yeah, that one's, I mean, it could work, but still. Now let's compare it real quick, because I feel I Need a Nude should have been a sister palette to the bronze palette, because they have similar vibe thing going with the gold and the oranges. I don't know, I feel like they have similar tones when it comes to the orange tones in here. Let me put this one right here, because obviously this freaking palette with these things. So these are, let me hold on. So these are it right here. I don't know, what do you guys think? I feel like they go better together because of the little gold to orange tones that they have going on in here. I feel like they go better together, these two, instead of the I Need a Nude, I Need a Warm. These are like totally such pretty shades, palettes to go together. I love these two. Like I said, I only used this 3 times, so I wouldn't know, you guys. There are no really similar colors between these two. No, I don't think so. There's and definitely not I Need a Nude either. There's no shade in here that's exactly a carbon print for the other one. And then we have the golden palette. I used this as a TikTok video. Never made a review on it. If you guys want a review on it, I mean, I could do like just a real quick swatch video, you know, like I did today. But it's 100% recommend her. Such a pretty ass palette. But Lag was the darkest tone in this palette too. And I feel like Lag was lagging a little bit there. Not my favorite. It is a matte brown, but definitely not my favorite. If you guys noticed the video, because I did do a TikTok video about that one. So this is, it's still darker than the one from I Need a Nude. So this is Lag, this is from the bronze, and this is from the I Need a Nude palette. So you guys can see that is obviously darker than the one from I Need a Nude. And that's the bronze one. So I saw that shade from the golden palette. It did work for a lot of people who were lighter. Totally smoked it out. But once again, she puts her little tutorial for darker skin people, and I see that she's using that freaking black crayon to smoke it out, because even she realizes this is not dark enough for them. So what would it like kill her or something? She could have added a darker than that, darker than this Lag, not Log. Actually, I'm calling it Lag and it's called Log. So definitely Log would have had to been at least 2 shades darker than that, almost like a brown black. That would have been perfect here. I love all the shimmers in here. First of all, really, really pretty. I love gold tones in general, but I did create a look. I did a TikTok video. I just never did a review. I did recommend it though. So if you guys are interested in buying that palette, because I know some people have asked me about it and they're like, Sarah, do you recommend that palette or not? I'm like, totally I do. I love that palette. So these are it. Not really similarities between the two. I mean, there are, yeah, there's no real similarities. You could totally get away with having both of these. I don't know. Let me know if you guys want me to do a review. I could just do a real quick swatch video. I just didn't do it because by the time I decided to buy the palette, y'all, YouTube is already full of reviews of that palette. So I'm like, what for? You know, that's what I think. What for now? So I'm gonna let you guys go. Hopefully I was able to help you guys decide whether you guys want the palette or not. I loved it. Like I said, it still worked for me. For someone darker, please use another black from a different palette or a dark brown from a different palette. Just make it work for you, because for $69, what other choice, you know? Like, I have it here, it's mine now, and I'm just gonna make it work for me. That's what I say, okay? So I'm gonna let you guys go. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And until next time, stay warm, stay blessed, and stay magical. Bye, you guys.